I learned to always take on things I'd never done before. Growth and comfort do not coexist. Your value will be not what you know, it will be what you share. The most important thing for any of us to be in our jobs is curious. Growth and comfort do not coexist. Don't let others define you. Define yourself. One of the most important things for any leader is to never let anyone else define who you are. And you define who you are. I never think of myself as being a woman CEO of this company. I think of myself as a steward of a great institution. IBM's long-standing mantra is think. What has always made IBM a fascinating and compelling place for me is the passion of the company and its people to apply technology and scientific thinking to major societal issues. For CEOs today, it's all about achieving growth and efficiency through innovation. It's not about product innovation so much anymore as about innovating business models, process, culture, and management. Today, when I think about diversity, I actually think about the word inclusion. And I think this is a time of great inclusion. It's not men, it's not women alone. Whether it's geographic, it's approach, it's your style, it's your way of learning, the way you want to contribute, it's your age, it is really broad. Clients say, "What's your strategy?" And I say, "Ask me what I believe first." That's a far more enduring answer. Someone once told me growth and comfort do not coexist. And I think it's a really good thing to remember. I learned to always take on things I'd never done before. If you're clear on what you believe, you have a great foundation to go make a market. You have to stick up for what you believe in. And that, to me, is the biggest thing you can do about driving inclusion. To me, I learned along the way, culture is behavior. That's all it is, culture is people's behaviors. Never love something so much that you can't let go of it. I always say, if I sit here and close my eyes and say, when did I learn the most in my life, in my career? It'll always be when I close them, and everything I think of is when I took a risk. It's when I think I learned the most. I think actions speak louder than words is one thing I think I always took from my mom. And to this day, I think about that in everything I do. Big data will spell the death of customer segmentation and force the marketer to understand each customer as an individual within 18 months, or risk being left in the dust. The social network will be the new production line in a company. And the reason I came to IBM was I always say at a really early age, I learned you've got to be passionate about what you do. No matter what it is, you put too much, your heart and soul in it, you have to be passionate about it. You make too many sacrifices. Big data is indeed a buzzword, but it is one that is frankly underhyped. Any city has to give some thought to its ambition and brand in order to set sustainability goals. One thing I always think about in making a market, and it again is something I have learned from Sam Palmisano as well. He always says, be first and be lonely. Every day I get to think and work on everything from digitizing electric grids so they can accommodate renewable energy and enable mass adoption of electric cars, helping major cities reduce congestion and pollution, to developing new microfinance programs that help tiny businesses get started in markets such as Brazil, India, Africa. Be first and be lonely. Big data is indeed a buzzword, but it is one that is frankly underhyped. The most important thing for any of us to be in our jobs is curious. Big data will spell the death of customer segmentation and force the marketer to understand each customer as an individual within 18 months, or risk being left in the dust. I've been head of strategy at IBM, and together with my colleagues built our 5-year plan. My priorities are going to be to continue to execute on that. Any city has to give some thought to its ambition and brand in order to set sustainability goals. What has always made IBM a fascinating and compelling place for me is the passion of the company and its people to apply technology and scientific thinking to major societal issues. We should prepare our future workforce differently. It isn't just advanced STEM degrees. There are many jobs you can do without advanced degrees. What I knew was I liked math and science, and I never wanted to memorize everything. I wanted to understand where it came from. This idea of a new collar says for the jobs of the future here. There are many in technology that can be done without a 4-year college degree and, therefore, new collar and not blue collar, white collar. It's a new collar. India will not be at the center, it will be the center of this fourth technology shift. Above and beyond, not only are we an innovation company, we are in service of our clients. I am big on, even with our whole team, it's always about, well, what were the lessons learned? Something didn't work out? What are the lessons learned? What are the lessons learned? One day we're going to look back, and whatever this era will get called, it's going to put a premium on math and science. The only way you survive is you continuously transform into something else. It's this idea of continuous transformation that makes you an innovation company. It's easy to have an Act 1 and 2. Go ahead and have an Act 3, 4, and 5. The saying is the easy part. The doing is the hard part. Planes don't fly, trains don't run, banks don't operate without much of what IBM does. The recommendation when I'm mentoring folks, I always tell them, and we talked about this last year, take a risk. So what it means is when you don't believe in the inevitable, it means you don't expect that that's how things have to turn out. You can change them. I'm the kid that tried to take Latin in school because I felt if I could understand the root of everything, then I could understand why it worked. That was what took me into engineering. And the reason I stayed is, engineering teaches you to solve problems. It teaches you to think. Steward for the long term. It's not always easy, but you do it. You've got to keep reinventing. You'll have new competitors. You'll have new customers all around you. You define yourself by either what your clients want or what you believe they'll need for the future. So, define yourself by your client, not your competitor. You have to stick up for what you believe in. And that, to me, is the biggest thing you can do about driving inclusion. We have started something called the Corporate Services Corps. Now, it was modeled after the Peace Corps from long ago, the 1960s. And the idea was in this modern day and age, how do you get IBMers around the world to be global citizens? You know, globally aware, contribute, understand how to work in that environment, but do it on scale.
Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe.